Hello there, Pamela Nance Lee here, diet-free weight loss coach with Bloom from Within Wellness, here to talk to you today about self-love. This is my second video in a series of videos I'm doing on the topic. It's such a huge topic. I mean, it's all over the place. In my first video, I talked about how step one was just to accept wherever you're at with it. Like if you are not feeling self-love, you need to accept that and also realize that you can change how you feel about yourself. So this video is the first step along that pathway. So I really feel like the first step is to accept yourself exactly where you are with all of your perceived flaws, and even one of those flaws could be not loving yourself. Okay. But just accepting yourself 100% where you are. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to change. I really feel like change comes from a place of self-acceptance, because it's through self-acceptance and growing your self-love that you will start to make changes from a loving place. What I talked about earlier in my first video, a place of like where you have this inner cheerleader or this supportive voice within you, instead of having basically like a drill sergeant or a critical voice that's always slamming down on you. Now, you can ask yourself, like if you're questioning this belief that accepting yourself exactly as you are is going to help you, well, you can ask yourself the question, how has doing what I have been doing, which is not loving myself, not accepting myself, talking harshly to myself, beating myself up when I make mistakes, talking disparagingly about myself to myself and possibly to others, how is that working in my life? You can ask yourself if you have the results that you want in your life. Are you in the career that you love? How's your body feeling? Are you in the kind of shape that you want to be in? How about your relationships and your living situation and your dreams? Do you have dreams? Do you have things that you want to accomplish? Do you have a meaning in your life? And, you know, I mean, not to get down on yourself further, but just to ask yourself, how has my life been? How is my life up until this point coming from a mindset of not accepting and loving myself? And that's all you need to ask, because the answer will be clear. The answer will be very clear to you. So that first step is to accept yourself exactly as you are right now. Now, this can be very challenging. I work with clients and I have them do mirror work where they look in the mirror. This is Louise Hay's work from back in the 70s. You look at your eyeballs in the mirror and you say, I love you. Well, people can get very triggered by that. So you can say things like, maybe an easier step might be, I care about you, looking in your eyes. I care about you. Or even, I'm open to caring about you. Or I've had this one recently, I'm open to shifting my relationship with you. I'm open to shifting this relationship with myself. Realizing here that this is a very spiritual practice, because the love that I'm talking about here is like acknowledging like there's a soul in here. Like there's something that's connected to something greater than myself. Call it creator, call it the universe, call it God, whatever you identify with that is greater than yourself. And it can even be nature, I am super connected to nature and I feel my place in nature. And so it can even be that. Just this connection to like the energy that created that also created me. So finding the place inside where you can, put your hand on your heart and take it at whatever level you're at. Either I'm open to shifting this, I'm open to being more caring, I'm open to being more loving, more kind, more compassionate with myself. And part of this is going to be a mindfulness practice of observing the thoughts, the words, the messages that you tell yourself. And this is really important, and you will really get a good picture of how you're talking to yourself when you make a mistake. So that's a good time to go on alert and see, like, how am I talking to myself when I make a mistake? And remember, as a reminder, I talked about this in my first video, and I might bring it up every time. Why is this important? Well, the main reason I can think of is that you are with yourself and your thoughts 24/7 for the rest of your life. And if you are trying not to listen to them, or you're trying to ignore them, you're probably doing some behaviors that maybe you don't want to do. I'm talking about overeating, over drinking, taking too many drugs, watching lots of TV, too much shopping, porn, whatever. Trying to not listen. But if you want different results in your life, then start listening, and not only listening, but start shape-shifting the conversation. And I'm going to talk about that in my next video, about how you start changing the conversation with yourself. All right, thanks so much for listening. I think this is so important. I mean, I really think if all 8 billion people did this, we would stop having wars and stop destroying our planet, because the biggest war is fought in here. Okay, reach out to me if you want any help with this. It's the work I love.